G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at installing Elementary 5.1. I'm going to do this to start off with in VirtualBox and then we'll probably move on to real hardware. But first of all, I'm going to create a disk to start with. So let's do that. Let's do that. And Ubuntu, it's based on Ubuntu 64-bit, that's better. Give it 8 gigs of RAM. Let's create that. Give it about 20 gigs, should be good enough for the video, and create. And what I'm going to do with that is probably give it UEFI under system enable EFI and storage. We'll add the Elementary OS ISO and we should be good to go. So let's check that out and see what happens. I'm not sure whether the EFI is going to work in this case, but let's check it out. Oh yeah, it looks like it's working, so that's good. Focus that. Now what we can do is we can try Elementary or we can install Elementary. Let's try first and see what happens there. So we have Elementary all set up. Let's just go to System Settings and Displays, and let's just see if we can give that a bigger display. Okay, so there's a button on the top right there. I didn't even know that. It's not very outstanding. So we'll give it 1440 by 900. Let's apply that. Let's keep that for now. That'll do. That's good enough. And we shall install Elementary. Now I'm just going to do your most basic install, which is the whole disk. English for me, it's continue. English US is good enough for me. Install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi and hardware and additional media formats. And from my experience, this is all good unless you're going to play DVDs and music. Then you'll need some extra stuff. And that's just not Elementary, that's Ubuntu base on a lot of occasions. I've already got Elementary installed and I was trying out playing a DVD and some music and putting music from the CD onto the disc, and yeah, we needed a lot more codecs than just what you select there. So erase disk and install Elementary. Continue. Australia, Perth, yep. And let's continue. Okay, so that's the installation done. So we shall restart now. Now this is the reason for VirtualBox, so you can see the login screen. And you can also see the first start. Now we'll go back to system settings and we'll try and get this display back up again. Let's apply that. Now I don't know whether the guest editions will work or not. It's under media, so we need to open this. Let's go back to Colin and open this in terminal here if we can do that. No, we cannot. So we're going to have to open a terminal, change directories, media, Colin, VBox, we'll go VB and tab. Yep, do that. List that out quickly and we shall sudo sh VirtualBox, no, VBox Linux additions .run. I think there's a couple of ways of doing this. This is the only way I remember how to do it. Anyway, it's up and running anyway, so that's good. That's what we want. We want right control key with the F key. We'll full screen it. And we have full screen. So that's what I wanted. So we're going to go through this little guide here. We've got basics guide. You can skip all of it if you want. So we've got basics guide here. Learning the basics. So it takes you through the basics of elementary, community support. That'll open another tab. Get support for elementary. And also get involved. And that'll take you to another link. Be a part of something bigger. So if you wish to be involved in the elementary OS community, there's a link for you there. So they're the main links to start with. All good stuff there. Let's go next. Turn on your location services. I might just leave that on. You can turn on your night light, which is also, if we open system settings, displays, night light, turn on the night light here, and it's got some settings here and some times and everything as well, so you can do that. Next, housekeeping, automatically delete temporary files and trashed files. Not sure about that, just in case you delete something that you really needed. So old files can be automatically deleted after 30 days to save space and help protect your privacy. Well, that's not too bad, 30 days. Yeah, normally it's 30 seconds you realise that you've deleted something you didn't really want to. And get some apps. So browse the App Center. There's a link there. It will take you to the App Center. Or you can open it from here, App Center. And we are ready to go. You can open System Settings, which we've already been in, which is this one here. And these are all out of the box. And let's get started. So that is a nice little touch welcome screen out of the box for elementary. It's good to see they've bringing that into line like everyone else, with a little bit of information and little helpful tips there for newer users and even users that have been in Linux but never really tried elementary. So that's really handy. Now, user accounts, let's go here. So we have to click that to unlock it. So put in our password. So what we're going to do is, it's probably not very obvious, and it wasn't for me either, but this little plus button down here, create user account. I'm going to make it a standard user, PCTLC, choose a password. Create the user. Let's add another user. So we've got a couple of users there. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to log out. Logged in, logged out. So we can log out and do that. And now we have a screen. Now I'm just scrolling the mouse key here so you can scroll over whichever user you want to try. So we can log into another user. I don't know if we get first welcome screen there. It's more than likely we will. So we get the welcome screen as well. VBox is having a bit of a fit. Yeah, that's fine. Wired account, okay. So yes, we've seen that. So we can skip all, ready to go, get started. So that's how that works. So we got plenty of users there. So that's how the users work. Let's log that out, log out, and we shall log back into me. So that's a pretty cool login screen, I must say. Now you've got your boot screen here. I had to force shut down VirtualBox. For some reason, didn't like logging in and logging out of user accounts. That's just VirtualBox. It has those issues sometimes. That's fine. And there we go. So we've got the date and the time here. You can suspend and shut down. It tells you that you're on a wired connection, and we can log in. And hopefully this time it logs in. And there we go. So we are now missing our full screen. Control F and then Control F, and we're back to full screen. Don't know why it does that. So they were the most important things I wanted to show you on VirtualBox. The welcome screen and the login screen. Now it's getting a bit late, so this will have to continue the next day, and we shall have a look at Elementary out of the box. I've got a video, things to do after installing Elementary 5 Juno. So I've got a video for that. Now, as you've seen, that install is exactly how I installed it on the laptop, except I installed it side by side with Ubuntu Budgie because I didn't want to get rid of that at the moment. I tried to do things as much as I could to run it as standard without adding anything, but unfortunately there's still some codecs and stuff we need to install for Elementary to get DVD playback and ripping music and stuff like that. So that's the next lot of stuff we'll be looking at in the next part of the video. So I shall see you in the desktop. So here we are in a freshly installed desktop of Elementary 5.1. I've already run through the welcome screen, so that's already been achieved. So what we're looking at here is a bit of a look around Elementary. So firstly, we'll take a look through settings and just have a quick look at what's in the settings here. We have applications, default applications, startup apps you want to launch on startup. You can click the plus button here and add a app to startup, or you can change your defaults. There probably won't be any other defaults at the moment because there's nothing else installed. Now in the, desktop, you've got wallpaper, appearance, window animations, panel translucency. So as you can see, if you take away the full screen, the panel goes translucent. Full screen it and it goes dark. Then you've got the dock. It can be small, large, normal. And you've got some settings here for the dock, which is this one down here. Pressure reveal, hot corners. And in the hot corners, you've got all these things here. Multitasking view, maximize current windows, show applications menu, show all windows, switch to new workspace, and execute custom command. Then we've got language and region, notifications, if you want bubbles, sounds, and I think you've got different notifications. You can set them for all these different things here. Security and privacy. History, locking, what's the options there? Lock on suspend, lock after screen turns off, firewall, housekeeping, and location services. No apps are using location services. Then we've got displays, which I think we've seen in the first part of my video on install, and you've got your night light here. You can turn that on. I won't do that at the moment because it'll probably go orange. Still early in the night for me. I don't want the orange on yet, so I can see what's going on. And of course, on the displays, you've got this cogwheel here. You can change your display settings. Keyboard, layout, and shortcuts. So you've got a lot of keyboard shortcuts here. You can run through those and work out what the shortcuts are and how to use Elementary with shortcuts. And behavior for the keyboard, mouse and touchpad, clicking, pointing, mouse and touchpad. Got some power settings, automatically adjust brightness, turn off display after 15 minutes. If you press the power button, it will suspend or do nothing, prompt to shut down. Suspend when inactive for 30 minutes. You got printers. I haven't set up a printer yet. You've got your sound, which I've been messing around with for this video, and they're fairly simple sound settings. Bluetooth. I've got no Bluetooth connected at the moment. Network, wired, wireless, and so forth. Online accounts. Not many online accounts there, I must say. I think they really need to add to that. Very sparse indeed. Sharing, you got media library. While disabled, the selected media libraries are unshared and it won't stream files from your computer to other devices. Okay. You got about, elementary OS 5.1 Hera, elementary Tosh, it's on my Toshiba, that's my specs. Date and time, AM and PM, 24-hour time, network time, show week numbers, parental control, no users to edit, so we don't have users for parental control, universal access, few settings there, and user accounts, which we've seen in my first part of the video. So that is that. Now if we press the super key, the super key gives us some keyboard shortcuts to work with. Super key and spacebar gives us the menu. So if we want multitasking view, if we open a few things here, if we hit the super key and the down arrow, then we get the multitasking view. However, you can also just click this one here, same deal. We can move things around like so. Hit the super key again. So to switch left and switch right, we can go super key right arrow, super key left arrow, which will take you to the different workspaces. You can switch to the first home workspace by pressing super key and home button. So if we go through that, super home, it'll take you back. You also got a nice little zoom feature in here if you hit the super key and the plus button. Super key and plus will zoom in, and super key and minus will zoom out. You got lock screen, log out, switch keyboard layout, and then you got your print options here. Tile your window left to the left or to the right with the super key and control and arrows. Control, super, and let's just focus the window here. So we can go left, we can go right. So control and super, or left and right. Super and up is maximize, super and down is the multitask view. So there's some of your options there. So for the menu option here, if you wanted to change that to the super key, you can go to your keyboard and you can change the super key behavior from the overlay to the applications menu. So if you hit the super key now, you got your applications menu. You can probably keep it on shortcut overlay till you get used to these shortcuts. That's probably another good thing you can do, or you can change it straight away. Personal choice, obviously. Now we chose to install third party and all that sort of stuff on install. So we chose that extra box to install drivers, and we do have NVIDIA installed. And once I run my little script, there'll be no screen tearing. So now on the dock down the bottom here, if we hit the control key and right click, we've got preferences. And in that preferences, we can change the dock to transparent. There's a matte and GTK. Transparency looks nice. You can change it from the bottom to the top, to the right, or to the left. And on the left hand side, you can choose to have it slightly up like so, or you can have it all the way down the bottom like so, or anywhere in between. And if we put that back onto 0, it'll be exactly centered like so. And the alignment end, start, that's a quick one there, or fill. I think it was on center. So you've got plenty of options there. You can change your icon size, behavior, window dodge, dodge active window, dodge maximize window, auto hide and IntelliHide, unhide delay, pressure reveal, lock icons, restrict to a workspace. And then you've got docklets. So I'm assuming those docklets are the ones up on the panel up here. Okay, so you've got these little docklets here. I didn't know they existed. So double click your docklets and that adds the docklet to there. So if you wanted to clear show desktop, you can show desktop. That's pretty handy. Applications. I'm not sure how you get rid of your docklets. There's got to be a way of getting rid of the docklets. Maybe we do it from here. So what you do is if you don't want it there, you can just drag it out of the menu. So that's quite handy. So Control, right click, Preferences, go to Docklets. You can add any of these into there. Clippy, for example, Battery, Desktop, Applications, and there your docklets. What's Clippy do? Clipboard is currently empty, so that's the clipboard. So you've got your battery monitor, show desktop, and applications. And that is a right click, by the way. Some of them are a left click, that one's a right click. Okay, and if you don't want them there, drag them out, poof, gone. Well, there you go. I didn't even know that actually existed. That's quite handy. Calendar, always a nice looking calendar. No events on this day, so I don't know if you can add events to the calendar. Do we have a calendar in the menu? Calendar, yes we do. And we can add a new calendar. Can we add events? Yeah, allow that. And we can add an event. Location, general information, guess, reminders, repeats. Okay, pretty cool. I like that. And then we got all these are individual now. Battery, mouse, show percentage, power settings. So a quick link to power settings, quick link to notification settings, suspend and shut down, log out and lock. Bluetooth settings as well, network settings. So they all have their links to their respective settings. And that's my simple screen recorder there. Yep. So that's all looking good. Desktop looks nice. So let's just say now we get to the point we're happy with our desktop and we want to play some, maybe stick a DVD in here because I've got a DVD player. I've stuck a movie in there. We'll just let that load. And we'll go to our player and browse library. Not much to look at there, so we cannot load a video or open file. Collateral damage is there. But then we get this nonsense where it's loading the VOB files, the VOB files and so forth. So nothing really happening there. Play from disk, but nothing's really happening. So nothing much happening there. Let's eject that. Now I have a music CD. I'm just going to stick that in there and see what happens with the music CD. So the music CD has been loaded. So let's open up music and let's play some music, I suppose. Import some music. So audio disc. And the music player has just crashed. So it doesn't want to know. Oh, it's crashed. Okay, so it's not even going to open. So I'll eject that disk. So it looks to me like enabling the third-party drivers and so forth. Looks like that doesn't have a lot to do with codecs. So this is going to be a bit of a problem. So Super and T opens up your terminal. So hit the key combination Super and the letter T. And what we want to do is we want to install ubuntu-restricted-extras. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And agree to the license. Hit the tab key and it'll highlight the OK button. Press enter. Tab key again to highlight yes. Now I've got 4 commands here. I'm hoping that we can do what we need to do with 4 commands. So the goal here is to get some sort of media support, so we can at least play. If we're a bit old school and you want to use elementary, you can get some sort of DVD player, or you can rip your music CDs that you've got at home that you own. So that's the Ubuntu restricted extras. The next thing we're going to do is sudo apt install libavcodec-extra. So that's already installed, that's okay. Sudo apt install, and we hit the up arrow to bring up the last command, and we shall install libdvd-pkg, and that will install support for codecs for your movie playing, hopefully. And yep, and do we want to reconfigure to launch this? The package automates the process of launching downloads of source files for libdvd-css2. Please run sudo dpkg-reconfigure libdvd-pkg to launch this process for the first time. Okay. Enable automatic upgrades, yes. So that is done. And we want to sudo apt install ffmpeg. Okay, so I'm not doing anything outside of what I believe is elementary's, what would you call it? I'm not going outside of elementary's design philosophies, but what I am doing is just enhancing the operating system a bit so it can be used for certain things. Now, I don't know if the music player is going to play or not. Let's put the music CD back in and see what happens. So let's import some music. Audio disc or Imaginate is the other one, and it doesn't want to know about it. Oh, it's crashed. So I don't know why Elementary's music player crashes trying to play a CD. That's a bit strange. So what we'll do now is we'll put in our DVD movie, and we'll try and play that in the movie player. It's called videos. So we'll try that. So it doesn't say to open. So it's still doing that. Play from disk. There we go. Let's do that. And it doesn't want to play. So that's a bit of an issue. Okay, which brings me to the next step. What we need to do is we need to open up the App Center, and we need to look for VLC Media Player, which is this one here. Install non-curated app. So non-curated means it hasn't met the design philosophies that Elementary stand by, which is a nice, smooth, coherent look right throughout the system. So if you install a third-party application, it's not going to look as part of the Elementary system as they designed it to be. So that's basically what they're saying. So that's fine. It will work. It's just not, it may not look as integrated with the system as what the Elementary apps will. That's not a problem. So we'll install a VLC Media Player and see if we can get somewhere there. So we have a VLC installed. Let's see what we can do there. We may even need a restart for this VLC. You can see the icon is not VLC icon, obviously, because it's just been installed. A reboot will fix that, not a problem. So that doesn't look too bad. That looks pretty much part of the system. So let's go to Media, Open Disk. Your disk is normally DevSR0, DVD, and let's click the play button. And that's not working. So what we may need to do is, we've installed a few things there, we may need to do a reboot. So we're going to do that. So I'll pause this and we will come back after a reboot. Okay, so we have rebooted. We're back in the system. Let's just check out the menu. VLC should be looking pretty good now. Yep. And then we'll do Media, Open Disk, DevSR0, play. So it recommended that After installing libdvd-pkg, sudo dpkg-reconfigure libdvd-pkg. So let's try that. So download, build and install libdvd css2, yes. So that's probably 5 commands. I don't know whether we need to restart after that. So let's just try a VLC media player. Media, open disk. And there we have DVD playback. So that's working all good. Now let's just try the player videos that comes out of the box with elementary. Open file. It's still doing that. I would like to see play from disk. There we go. Now that still doesn't want to play. But VLC is playing it, so that's a good choice to install VLC. Now the other thing we want to do is we want to try and play an audio disc. We'll see if the music player will play the disc now with all the codecs installed. Now that we've successfully got the DVD playing, let's see if this will work. Imaginate. Audio disc. And it's crashed, so it still does not want to play. So let's go back to the App Center and we're looking at audio. We'll go to the category of audio. Now there's an Amarok player here, Audacious. I normally just use whatever media player comes out of the box most times. Amarok's I've heard is not too bad, I've heard. Clementine's a reasonably good player. Let's just try Clementine and install anyway. Let's see what happens with that. So Clementine is installed. So it looks like it didn't install. Oh, it's loading now. It's downloading. I'm not sure what's happened the first time. Okay, so Clementine should now be installed. There's Clementine now. Devices. Double click to open. So that's opening the CD player. And it's picked up the CD and what's there, and we can probably play something there. So I don't know why output is gone back to Yeti stereo. Okay, so yep, that's playing, no problem. So you can see that's not a problem at all. If you wanted to rip your DVDs, you can look for, if you go to audio, you can do a search for it as well. It's called Sound Juicer, is a pretty good one. Sound Juicer. Let's install that. Yes, install anyway. And that's Sound Juicer installed. So if we go to the applications, we go to Sound Juicer. There it is there. It's looking for the tracks. And you can see that's loaded, no problem at all. We have here we have options. We can go to preferences. We can choose MP3, OGG Vorbis, OGG Opus, FLAC, MPEG for audio. So with the MP3, it doesn't give you any other options for what quality, but it should be okay anyway, I would think. So, and then you can just extract and that'll load it to disk. Now with the other thing, if you wanted to do that with your DVDs, you can choose to install under video would be Handbrake. Handbrake, there it is there. Handbrake will, if you got some favorite DVDs at home that you, instead of putting them in the player, you want to rip them to the hard drive, Handbrake is perfect for that. This one here. So that is the audio. Now, that is just getting your multimedia up and running on elementary. So to have such a nice desktop, you really do want to be able to use it to its fullest capabilities. So we've got it to that point. You may want to use a different media player of your choice, a different movie player besides VLC. I know VLC does pull in quite a few maybe extra codecs as well, So now what we want to do is we want to look at installing Flatpaks. Now if we go to Epiphany, do a search for Flatpak. You can search in the address bar. That's the best thing to do these days. And Flatpak. Now this is well, I expected to be going to, actually what I wanted to do was go to FlatHub, sorry. FlatHub you need to go to. FlatHub. Now in FlatHub, if we do a search for, say I want to install Telegram and enter that search and we get Telegram. So if we click on Telegram and we click on install, you'll notice that Telegram has been downloaded. So let's go to our downloads, which is here, and we click on Telegram. It's fetching some details. It's telling you it's an untrusted app because it doesn't come from their repositories. Download size may be 854 megabytes. Updates to this app will not be reviewed, and other apps from the distributor may appear in the App Center. I understand, and install anyway. So now what that's doing is installing a Flatpak. So Flatpak is actually not integrated into the App Center, but once you download it and click on it, it actually adds all the required information it needs to actually install this Flatpak, which is not a bad idea, but I did not have to use the terminal. So that is a good thing. Now I think they call this side loading, I think is what they call it. Now whether side loading is doing it some other way, this is the way I did it and it worked. So I'm pretty happy with that. So in a lot of others, you have to go to FlatHub, and then it'll say if we go back one, or if we go back another one, sorry, wrong button, and then quick setup, and then you got to go to your Ubuntu base, and then you'd have to go to the Ubuntu base, and then you'd have to install Flatpak support and all this stuff. Only where I think this must be on 1904 or at least 1810 maybe, or 1804, I'm not sure. You'd have to install maybe all this. I think Juno is based on 1804. I don't know if 5.1 went to any of the others. I wouldn't think so. So you'd have to do all that. But in this case, we didn't have to do that. It did it all for us. So that to me is user-friendly. So all you really need to do is put FlatHub as a shortcut or as a favorite in here. So if we click on, where are we now? FlatHub. So we choose favorites. It is a favorite already. So how do we show that? Preferences. So if we close Epiphany and open Epiphany back up again, if we close FlatHub, so that's closed, but I believe that the favorites, where are your favorites? FlatHub. So is that your favorites there, is it? Let's just go to YouTube. I'm not really 100% sure about Epiphany and how it works, so we're just going to check out how we're adding our favorites and sorting our favorites in here. So we are now at YouTube. We'll click on favorites, YouTube. Okay, so we've clicked on favorites. So let's close that. Let's open Epiphany once again. Click on this, YouTube, and FlatHub. So there are our favorites when clicking on the favorites button here. Tags. So maybe I should have tagged it, I'm not sure. Need a little bit more experimentation on that one. So I may need to check that out a bit more, but that looks pretty simple. Oh, there we go. Now we've got a an icon there for it. So that just took a little while to kick in. Yep. So that's how that works. Actually, that's not too bad. The only thing I've had a problem with Epiphany is it has these a red screen come up every now and then, which was a bit weird. Super and down button. Yep, there we go. That's installing still. Super down. So let's just do a screen tearing test here. I know it's not gonna be real good. There's the red screen. So I don't know why it does that. I've had that a few times. And now it's gone. So that's a bit of a weird anomaly there. So let's do that. Now if we hit the super key to show our overlay, you'll see this one here, picture in picture mode. Super and F. So if we choose super and the F key and you see the hairline come up, let's draw that around there. And then we got picture in picture. So we can now close YouTube, or should I have not done that? Maybe I shouldn't have closed YouTube. So super F key. And there we have our screen down the bottom. Now if we super down key and we go to another screen, we can continue to watch our video wherever we go. So super left arrow, we can go to all different works except for the workspace with YouTube on it. Obviously it recognizes that and disappears. So we can continue to go to workspaces in our video. We can continue to watch our video while we do other things. So that is pretty handy indeed. So we can close that. Super down arrow, go back to here. That is still going. Let's close our YouTube. So what I find a little bit of a struggle with Elementary is the fact that I have to work out how to go from window to window. Because there's no minimize. So I find that a bit difficult, but I can see that after time you can get used to it. So you can go to different workspaces. And once you get used to the keyboards, it's not too bad. Or you just use your multitask view. So you're probably best if we move this. I don't know if we can, no, we can't do that. So if we move this one to another workspace, let's just say we move this one over here, or we move that there. We can't do that. Let's go to that workspace. Don't know why you can't change the workspace and the position of that. Oh, there we go. You can. All right. So there we go. All right. I'm trying to put it inside that rather than beside it. Okay, there we go. So we can do it that way. So how are we going with our install there? Getting there. Big download. Flatpaks. But I believe Flatpaks aren't as big a download if once one's installed, the others are probably not as big. Now the other thing I have noticed is in the App Center, if I do a search for Zoom, now that's funny, I did a search for Zoom the other day or last night, and Zoom, the Zoom client was actually in here. Now I'm thinking maybe that showed up because I had already installed a Flatpak. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. And we'll see if other Flatpaks show up after this install, which is very interesting because I thought, wow, they've got Zoom in the repos. Nobody has Zoom in the repos, but maybe this is what it was all about. So that's Telegram installed. Let's check that out. It should be here somewhere. No, I think it won't show until you do a reboot. So let's have another look at the App Center and search for Zoom. It's not there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shut down, restart, and then we'll come back and check this out. So here we are back into the desktop. We have Telegram here showing in the menu, and that's all working. So once that starts up, I'm pretty confident that that will work. I'm not going to log into that at the moment. But what I am interested in looking at is whether we have Zoom showing up in here, and we don't. That's interesting. Okay, so I've given it a little bit of time, and now Zoom is showing up here in the App Center. So that must be a Flatpak. It's not telling me where it's from. It is the latest Zoom, there's no doubt about that. Proprietary, it says down the bottom here. So that must be a Flatpak. So now we must have other Flatpaks showing in the elementary App Center. So that's pretty cool. So all I had to do was install one, and it's actually installed the rest of the support within the App Center. Looking at this, I may have to maybe try searching for something else. What can we look for that I normally install? Let's try KDN Live, see what's there. There might be a couple show up. Let's have a look. That's from the Ubuntu non-curated, and it's a fairly old one. So I would have thought if Flatpak support was there, that would be showing up a couple of times. But this thing is spinning, so it might be loading quite a fair bit. No, it stopped spinning now. It's made a liar out of me. So that's very interesting. So we can do a search for GIMP. It's just a shame it doesn't tell us where these things are installing from. Maybe I'm just not looking properly. It says 2 GIMPs there, 2.822, 2.10. So there are 2 different GIMPs there. So this might be, the 2.8 is probably more than likely from the Ubuntu repos because it's a bit older and it's a very small file size. And this one here is 108, 2.10. I would have to think that is your Flatpak. So that's been loading all the Flatpaks in the background, I would say. That's very handy. I'm very impressed with that. There's no right click on the desktop, so if you want to change your desktop background, you can do so here. And they've got a few desktop backgrounds there you can try out. Don't know if you can add any of your own or not. Import photo, you can. So you can do that. So that is elementary Juno 5.1 release. Looking pretty good so far. What I see is pretty good. Only thing is there's a bit of a workflow adjustment when it comes to using elementary. If you can get past that and open your mind a bit, maybe use the keyboard or the multitask view here or the dock itself. I'm pretty sure that's the way elementary was intended to be used. So I'm trying to use it without changing it, and I'm not installing the tweak tool. And so far, yeah, I do find myself sort of looking at the screen thinking, what's my next move? I think that's a natural thing. That happened to me in another desktop I was doing as well. Oh, that was when we were using the that one that had the key bindings. I can't remember which one that was now, but that was the same deal. Elementary's not so bad, at least you've got all the menus here. But once you get used to using this multitask view, it's not too bad. So that is Elementary OS 5.1. Bit of a look around, multimedia support in place. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.